Okay guys, now what we're going to do real quick is we're going to take this database that we've been working with, and we're going to start to use that database over into our PHP. Now I want to kind of skip a couple of steps just in the interest of letting the video flow, but I'll walk through what they all are. If we're doing this live, I'd actually do these things one at a time, but I'll explain as we're going. So the first thing that we want to take a look at of importance is going to be this line here. The $db connect equals MySql connect localhost root CGI. Well, if you remember from the last video, you saw a spot where I was logging into my MySql system. Guess what the passwords were? Well, the username was root, the password was CGI, localhost. That's the name or IP address of the server that I'm connecting to. So what this does is this connects us to the database, and it stores that connection information in this variable. We check to see if this variable was set to false. If it was, we're going to output something. What we're going to output is echo. There's an error. This is what the error is going to be, and then it's going to then we're going to leave that and finish up. So one thing we probably should do here, and I really recommend that you do this way, is that whenever you're using ifs, end them with the curly bracket and then close the curly bracket. Otherwise, you'll end up wanting to tack something in, and all hell will break loose. So just trust me. Put the brackets there. Now, once we've connected to the database, if you remember, we've connected to our database. Our database's name is contact. Okay. Now, we've connected to the database. Our database server, I should say, but we haven't connected to the database itself yet. But our database's name is contact. So our DB name is here. We set that to be contact. Down here, you'll see that I do a MySql select database. My database name and my connection string. So that'll be contact, which is there, DB connect, which is here. If that's equal to false, then it's going to output an error saying that, oh, sorry, couldn't connect to the database. I had this error, and it'll give us that error so we know what the problem was. Probably the database didn't exist, for example. I'll show you an example of that happening in a minute. Then we'll close our connection string, because at this point we don't really want to do anything else. And we're going to set our connection back to false. So we've closed our DB connect string, and we've kind of set that back to false. So if we have anything else in our application that's looking for that DB connect string, it'll know that it's not there because it's not working. So that's what we're doing. We're going to save this, and now we're going to localhost. If you look here, that's in www, or that's in WEMP, www sample, and it's called sample.php. So in my projects, I should find a sample folder, and in here I'll find the sample.php. When I connect to this, I don't get any output. So what I do is I right click and I say view to source. I just want to see that stuff came in. If this is blank, that means that you've got something in your PHP screwed up, because none of the output's going. So you're getting an error code and everything's just stopping. And it'd be a big error too, not just a little logic error that's talking to boom, no output at all. So now let's say I mistyped that. So let's just see this in action. So I'm going to reload this. and it couldn't select the contact one, the database, as the unknown database contact one. So if I take a look at my source again, you'll notice that all it really is a little bit of HTML wrapped in my body tag. And that's the whole idea of this stuff. So what I've done, and I'll fix that really quick by changing that back. Make sure I save. I reload now, that'll go away, and I have what looks like a blank web page. But that blank web page is connected to my database. So that's the very first part of what we want to do. The next part comes into, well, how do we want to interact with our database? And just to show you, see, empty body, nothing there. So the ways we want to interact with our database, well, generally speaking, there's 4 things that you do with a database. You create, you update or insert, you replace, I guess that would be update too, you delete. So you only really ever pull information out, put information in, create a new database, or destroy information that you have there, either the full table, the full database itself, or what have you. I really suggest that you work from the PHP MyAdmin side to do most of your addition stuff till you get really comfortable, because everything else has to be done in SQL, and it's a lot easier to work with an interface that lets you not have to do that. So what are we going to do now? Well, most often what I'd do at this point is I'd come down here and I'd start off by taking a look at the convention we've had. Well, we had DB name, DB connect. So guess what I'm going to use here? I'm going to use $DB query. And I'm going to say DB query is going to equal select star from, and what was my database table's name? Person. I need a semicolon there. Okay, so now I've made this string. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a query. I want to say DB results is going to equal MySql query and $DB query. What that is going to do is that's going to do exactly the same as if I was to type this query into the other side. So, and I'll do that now in a second too. So let's see what that query looks like over here. So I go to SQL. Oh, I timed out. Try that again. So I go to SQL. I do a paste. So select star from person. When I go to go, what I get is I get a full listing of everything. So that's what I'm expecting to happen over here. So I go to save this. Keep an eye on the time, so I'm going to have to do another video soon. Alright, I go to run this, and I still get no output. Well, the reason I get no output here is kind of the same as before. Now, I'll actually get into that, because notice everything's still blank. So I'll get into that in our next video. But I will tell you, as of right now, this part here is correct. Well, in the next video, we're going to add some error checking to this right away, and then we're actually going to go through displaying our output and showing you guys some tricks too around that. One thing you'll notice is that your connection information is always going to work the same. The way you do your query is almost always going to be the same, and then the way you get your information out and display it, that's really going to be the only part that changes, and that only changes really in how you display it. So anyway, I'm going to stop this video here, and I'll have another one done up for you guys soon. Talk to you later. Bye for now.